So say hello to Dusty Dvoracek. What's going on, Dusty?
Say hello to my little friend. What's up, man?
Line.
You geared up for Thanksgiving festivities? You doing a turkey?
I was not given any responsibilities.
Oh, nice.
This year. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of nice. I just have to show up. And I got great news last night, Dusty, and you'll appreciate my son is going to be there. So he's coming home from West Point. We're going to go up to Tulsa. It is not our year to host, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm a big Thanksgiving guy. Football, turkey, and maybe some vino mixed in. It can't get any better than that.
Oh, no. Did I tell you? So I was in Tulsa over the weekend. We were doing an early Thanksgiving with my brother and my mom, and it was like full-blown spread. And, I mean, it was so good. We had my brother spatchcocked a turkey.
Oh, nice.
And it was very nice.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, it definitely. I've done one in the past, but it cooks the turkey breast a little bit more evenly. Can create a little bit more moisture for your turkey. We had all the sides, the casseroles, everything was hitting, and then I'm going to do another one again on Thanksgiving itself. So I get a 2-for-1 this week, and it was round one was off the charts. So I like you. I'm a big Thanksgiving fan. Football, food, family, friends, fun. What's not to love?
Gotta love it, man. Hey, so Grayson Singleton is in today for Josh. Josh is doing the mornings. TJ still has the beach vacation during the busiest time of the year.
Sure.
Not even mad, just envious. So we allowed ourselves to get into what is probably going to be one of our favorite conversations this offseason, the quarterback market in college football. Going to be crazy. I think. So I start looking around. Notre Dame, I feel like they're going to be in that mix for a quarterback, right?
Riley Leonard's got another year.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Or because here's Georgia gets Jaden Rashada last year. Julian Sain goes to Ohio State last year. Oregon goes and gets the Moore kid out of UCLA to back. So I don't know if those three schools will be in the market, but now maybe Notre Dame's looking for a guy. I mean, if Michael Hawkins enters the portal, that might be a place they go to try to bring someone for the future. But my question is, where does Jackson Arnold, you think, fit in all this? Because there's a part of me, Dusty, I think he's going to be back. I think there's a good chance he's going to be back, but I am very much in the minority on this one right now.
And by the way, maybe I'm off on Riley Leonard. I know he's only played 4 years, but maybe he never.
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
So the question at the time, how does Jackson Arnold factor in? Man, it's such a good question, and I don't
can't tell, can you?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if they know yet.
Okay.
I don't. I know those conversations are ongoing. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of factors at play here. Like, I'm sure that both those quarterbacks, I know that the plan is Oklahoma wants to keep both of them.
Right.
They want to keep Michael Hawkins. They want to keep Jackson Arnold. I can definitely say with positivity those conversations have been going on. Will both stay? I don't know that. I think that the offensive coordinator hire has got to be a factor for these quarterbacks to look at and make a determination. Does Jackson Arnold need or want to be, to know that he's the starting quarterback, right? I mean, is this his job? Is this a job that in the springtime is going to be open for competition? With that offensive coordinator, is he bringing a quarterback? Mm-hmm. I think there's so many variables. I don't know how anybody could say definitively exactly what's going to happen right now. I think that, we're going to know pretty quickly. I mean, I think that, by next week, we're going to have a really good idea. But as we sit here on this Tuesday, I don't know. Right? Like it's so hard to predict. And I'd hate to even give a guess because I'd be completely guessing. I would lean towards, I'd say that they're both back, but I wouldn't put any stock in that. And I don't know, maybe those quarterbacks know, maybe Jackson Arnold and Michael Hawkins, maybe they know, and maybe the coaches have a lean, but I don't know who could tell you definitively exactly what's going to happen in that situation.
Okay. All right.
What's your lean is what? That he's back?
He's back. But here's the thing. Grayson
That'd be my lean
point.
too, but I don't know.
That's my lean this week. It was not my lean 2 weeks ago.
It's a slight lean, but
Grayson brought up a really good point too, and you doubled down on it, and I think I would triple down on it. There might be an offensive coordinator that comes in and says, hey, this dude knows my offense. Let me get him in here.
Yeah.
And then there might be an offensive coordinator that comes in and says, I can work with this, man. I can work with this kid. Give me a chance. Right? And that's got to play such a major part of this.
It does. I think it without question does. And that's, because you want to keep as many good players as possible, but, there's only so much you can, when you talk NIL dollars and how you distribute that money, can you afford to pay 3 quarterbacks in today's landscape and disregard potentially other position rooms? You know what I mean? Like, people aren't going to be on rosters for free, especially at that position. And then, again, that's just the part that I don't know. I mean, we've heard some of the names that are being thrown out there for offensive coordinator. There's at least a couple that have quarterbacks that you would think would potentially be in the mix to come. And that's not, and I don't even think you say you guarantee a starting job, but what if, and again, I'm just throwing this out there for hypothetical. What if Jackson Arnold says, if I'm not guaranteed a starting spot, I'm going to go somewhere that I am.
Right.
I just, these are all valid, good questions. I don't know how anybody, I find it hard to believe that anybody that's in the media right now can say definitively what's going to happen.
I don't know if Jackson can. Yeah, I don't know if OU can. Here's a question I have for you, because you cover it all, and we're going to get to Oklahoma and LSU here in just a second. But are you seeing in the different agents / marketing firms / I don't know if it's – runners is always viewed as a bad term, but just agents that these guys have, how big of a voice do they have? I mean, that's a pretty big agency around Jackson. They might say, you got to go somewhere where you can start or at least try to. I don't know, or you got to stay in Power 5. Not just specific to this Jackson Arnold. Dusty, what kind of voice do these firms, these agents have in, trying to pursue these guys to get into the portal? Because they're already out there farming offers for them, right? Tampering is like a seatbelt ticket, right, if you get caught for it. But you can get around it when you're like, our agents, I never talked to them. I never had direct contact, but your agent can. So, I mean, these guys are already probably farming offers, too, for them.
Yeah, gauging interest. I mean, there's no doubt. You're putting feelers out. You're trying to find out what the market is. And that's positions across the country, right? I mean, these are things that are happening. I think, there's not a blanket way of answering that question, I don't think. I think that different people handle that different. If you have representation, you're going to lean on what they say. Everybody's trying to create value, for themselves, and you're having somebody trying to create that value. One of the biggest things is leverage. Is there leverage? And, I think for a lot of these agents, they're gauging that interest out there just to see what the market value is. And then they can take that back to school and just try to, get more money for their player. That's no different than what agents do for coaches each and every year when we see coaches' contracts continue to go up and up. It's similar. Obviously, the mobility of players makes it different because they have that ability to just up and go whenever they want if they haven't already transferred. Now it's like, does it even matter if you've transferred once, right? It's still very much up in the air if you can restrict players whatsoever based off some NCAA rulings. So, yes, that's going on. But I think players, some people are motivated by different things. There's some players that are out there that are just going to go for the almighty dollar. You know what? They're going to say, where can I make the most money? And that's going to be their choice. So I think they're going to be very much influenced by what representation has to say to them, and where can they go seek out the most money. And there's going to be other people that are looking for other things that, money's a piece of it, but it's also about the relationship with the coach or the proximity to family or the offense or the defense that they're going to play within, right? So I think that there's just a lot of different factors at play. And like for some, I've talked to, players or coaches, and, sometimes they have to deal with a handler or an agent, not even players or coaches, but, these various, these collectives that are out there. They have to primarily deal with just a handler or an agent, and in others, it's more of dealing with a family member, a parent, or I just think that it's so wide-ranging. There's not a blanket way to say it. A lot of these players are motivated and fueled by different things, and I think it's a variety of different aspects that are part of the decision. But agents, handlers, they're trying to create a market. They're trying to create leverage. They're trying to drive the value of their players up. Absolutely. That's going on right now, and it's going to continue to go on all the way through this portal season. That's a reality of this business that we're currently in college football.
All right, Dusty. We're going to talk about this so much, and I'm so excited about it because I think we're all learning, right? And it's going to shift. It's going to change a little bit, maybe, when we get to revenue sharing, maybe. But I am fascinated by the conversation around it, at least in the short term. Now, let's segue to this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, you've had LSU this year, I think, right?
Yeah, against Florida a couple weeks ago.
Game.
Oh, yeah.
Long-term problems there? Chance to maybe do something Saturday, or do you think that was kind of a 2 to 3 game lapse they had right now with what you've seen?
No, look, given what Oklahoma just did, there's a reason this point spread's at 6 at night in Baton Rouge. One thing LSU has really struggled with is mobile quarterbacks. You go back to what Marcel Reed did when he came in for Texas A&M, what Alabama was able to do with Jalen Milroe. They absolutely skewered this LSU defense with the quarterback run game. We just saw Jackson Arnold have his biggest game. I would have to imagine that's a massive part of this game plan for Joe John Finley and company. This LSU defense, they got a couple nice players. The linebacker Whit Weeks, a good player. Braden Swinson coming off the edge. Savion Jones. I think their edges are good. I think they're, suspect on the inside of that defensive line at defensive tackle. And Brian Kelly, going back to last spring, had talked about the need to get better interior defensive linemen. I think that's hindered them at times to be able to stop the run. They've got some holes on the back end of their defense as well. So I respect Blake Baker, their new defensive coordinator, a lot. And they are improved from where they were a season ago. But in the Florida game that I had, I thought Florida in limited possessions, because Florida in that game, they didn't have a ton of snaps, but they were very effective. They got chunk yardage in the throw game as LSU was overcommitting to try to stop the run. And with their running backs, they still ran it extremely effectively, over 6.5 yards a carry. So, that Florida game that I did, Florida only had 43 offensive snaps. And they had, a lot of chunk plays in the throw game and then ran the football effectively. So I do think that there's going to be opportunities, and I think that you continue to build upon that run game, and then you build in some play action pass to go off of that. I think that's the opportunity to give this Oklahoma offense continued success for back-to-back weeks.
I agree. And I know you played. I think, you played with him. You're friends with him. How cool is it to see Joe John Finley getting to shine a little bit here in the last few weeks? Over 1,000 yards rushing in the games that he's called, and just to see Joe John and Coach Beanbo, obviously, with what he's done on the O-line, but to see Joe John come up with these game plans and how much we know that he's putting into this, Dusty. I know he's going to have something cooked up on Saturday for him, but I've been so impressed with how he has taken that over and owned it.
Yeah, I was so happy for him. was for all those guys, man. They needed that. It was really good to see. And I just thought that schematically, I liked what they did. I liked a lot of the gap scheme runs. I liked the formationally, with that diamond set that they have, and whether it's Bauer Sharp in the backfield with two backs as well. I thought that they dialed up a really good game plan, and it was executed well. And give the offensive line a ton of credit. I mean, they've been banged up all year. They've had their struggles throughout the year, which we have documented, we have talked about. And I thought that they clearly put forth their best effort on Saturday against Alabama. And hopefully they feel that, they see that, they have confidence from that, and they're able to go out and play with a similar level of physicality and execution here against LSU. But there's no doubt, man, Joe John is he's done a really nice job stepping into a very tough situation and trying to stabilize this offense. And obviously we saw them run the football as well as we have all year there against Alabama. And I'm hopeful that they continue to build off that game plan and keep it going here in this one. The other thing too, one other thing with, just this matchup, Garrett Nussmeier, he has really struggled to take care of the football. And, coming off a game where Oklahoma just had 3 interceptions of Jalen Milroe, you go back to the A&M game and the Alabama game, he had 6 turnovers in those 2 games combined. He's taken a little bit better care of the football the last couple of games, but he definitely has got a gunslinger mentality, and he will put the ball in harm's way. This is an LSU team that they've started to be more committed to running the ball. Caden Durham, who I believe local product out of the Oklahoma City area, they've leaned on him a little bit, and he's a good explosive running back, but they rely much more on their passing game. And I think with Oklahoma's run defense, LSU kind of knows they're going to have to be able to throw the ball. If there's going to be an opportunity that Garrett Nussmeier is going to put the ball in harm's way and give Oklahoma a chance to get their hands on the football. So I think that, we saw this defense, create some takeaways and be opportunistic. I think there will be some similar opportunities in Death Valley on Saturday night.
All right, buddy, let's get a break. Dusty Dvoracek is with us. Your questions next on a Tuesday, live from Caven's Disaster Response Group on the road.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is The Ref, home of Sooner fans.
All right, it's the Plank Show on a Tuesday. Dusty Dvoracek is with us, as he always is on a Tuesday. Grayson Singleton in for Josh Helmer. We're at Caven's Disaster Response Group. Okay, I've been wanting to talk to you about this because when I try to explain it, I think I then confuse myself more. And you know me, I'm not a smart man. So I turn to you. A lot of questions about the illegal touching penalty. Can you that wiped out a Ryan Williams touchdown? Some people got on Twitter and said, no, they screwed it up. And then everyone's like, no, that's an NFL rule. So, Dusty, can you help us better understand? It seems like they screwed it up. Oklahoma was due a break, but what is that rule?
So, okay, based off of what I've seen, I mean, I think you heard on the broadcast the rules expert come in and say it was the wrong call.
Right.
I thought that was the wrong call.
Okay.
I thought that they messed it up. Now, it's interesting because I've reached out to different people, and everyone that I've talked to said that they got this call wrong. But there's definitely people on X that seem to think that they got it right. So I'm actually anxious to see. I'm surprised the SEC hasn't commented on this yet. I've been waiting on them to say yes, they got it right, or no, they got it wrong, because it seems to be a lot of people in question on this call. But to me, I mean, the outside receiver is off. Ryan Williams, I did not think was covered up in that spot. I know it's quads. They've got a tight end on that side who is on the line of scrimmage, but the outside receiver is off the ball. Ryan Williams is up on the football. He's not covered up based off the way I see it. Now, I thought that, clearly there was confusion because Herb Street didn't understand it. The rules expert didn't understand it. And I have yet to have anybody tell me that was right. So if I'm misunderstanding it as well, I would be happy for someone to lay it out for me. But it sure seems like they got that call wrong.
Dusty, it's wild because you would think that somebody would have come out with something by now. That's the thing that's still weird to me. If it was so wrong, right? Why have we not addressed this yet? But again, who knows? Maybe as we're saying this, there's been a statement released, right? But you feel like you got to address it.
I've looked and I've tried to find it. There's not. I mean, so I've worked with Bill LeMonnier, who was on that call.
Awesome.
He's
I met
good.
him Saturday morning. Dude, by the way, not to jump in here, I didn't realize this. I did my morning show from there on XM, and he comes walking in. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, well, I sit here, and all day long I just watch other games, and I'm here to help people out. So basically his day is from 11A to like 11P, right? And he was just down there in the Sooner Vision studios, Dusty, with a setup, just watching games all day long, helping people out. How cool is that?
That's not a bad gig. I think that's very cool. He was on with me 2 weeks ago, and we were chatting in the breaks and stuff.
Great guy.
I think he really knows his stuff. I mean, I believe, didn't he say he was perplexed?
Yes.
You were doing the game. I don't know if you went back and watched it.
I went back and watched it. Yeah, because I didn't even know at the time what was going on.
I mean, so I guess my question would be, that's his sole job. He spent a long time as an official, and now he's paid to be a rules expert. I mean, I'm not going to act like I know or interpret the rules at a higher level than him. So I don't know, though. But to your point, I don't know why the SEC. I mean, I guess let me ask this: what would be more likely for the SEC to come out if it was right or if it was wrong? Because if they got it wrong, are they going to come out and tell their officials?
You know what?
If they got it right, though, don't you think they'd be quick to say, "No, we got it right, and this is exactly why"?
Maybe this is going to be like a Friday news dump or something. But I will say, the timing of the flag, because I went back and
was super late.
I know,
super late.
Almost. And I don't think the official could see that he caught the ball, but the timing of it was, super late. Okay, here's a good one off the rules talk. But that Bill was awesome to us, man. He brought me Oreos. He's like, very impressed. Here's some Oreos. I was like, thanks.
Double stuff?
No, they were just regular. So he just kind of likes me, maybe. The 405 has a question for you. Dusty, what did the offensive line do differently that finally worked? Not being negative, just what made it work against Bama that hasn't worked all year? Is it repeatable, or since it's on film, is it a one-hit wonder?
Well, I mean, look, I think sometimes like they were able to block guys. They were able to get movement. I thought Wee-Woo did a nice job. And again, they did far more gap scheme stuff, which when I say gap scheme, that's when you're pulling backside guard tackle. That's when you're pulling backside guard and you're bringing the tight end across. I mean, there were times early in the season where they were running primarily just inside zone. So I just think schematically they were doing a lot more gap scheme runs than what I had seen, whether that was quarterback counter, it was running back counter, just a variety of different things that they did. To me, those are some of the better runs. A lot of teams run a variation of gap scheme, zone scheme, and you mix and match it throughout the course of the game. I thought that Oklahoma really majored in more of the gap schemes with, blocking down, pulling backside, and getting out in front. And I thought they did a good job. I thought they got good movement. I thought they played with better physicality. And I think, clearly, some of these younger guys are getting more and more experience, and they're playing with a little bit more confidence and a better understanding of exactly what to do and where to go. And when you can do that and you can play fast, it allows you to have more success. And it's like anything, man. Once you start getting some confidence going, it's going to allow you to come off the football, that much more aggressively. And I thought that's what we saw. I saw them getting off the football and playing with physicality and aggressiveness. And it was a great thing to see. I was happy for for Coach Beatonbow. I was happy for those guys who have been a huge talking point all throughout the course of the season. And, we saw earlier this year, I can't remember which game it was, when Logan Howland was going to make a start. He came in, I think it was against Ole Miss. And he had some real struggles. And the other thing, too, like they kept him out of bad spots as far as pass protection goes. They were able to, they only threw it 12 times. And, they were able to run the football a lot. And I think that especially for young offensive linemen, when you can keep them out of pass protection and run the football, it just gives them more of an opportunity to have success. I really thought Howland and Ozida, I thought they stepped up and played well off that left side. And I believe, didn't he get Offensive Lineman of the Week?
Yeah, and then they posted a video of him absolutely getting smashed and missing a block.
That's not what you want. But and then obviously, Spencer Brown stepped in, so I thought that the scheme was really good, and happy those guys were able to have success.
All right, Dusty, I got one more for you before we let you get out of here off the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. And I thought this was pretty cool as well because, here we are in a situation that everyone is about family and everybody's about what's going on in your own home. So Les in Hayes, Kansas, ask Dusty how his boy's doing in football. Very important question to put a wrap before the holidays.
He's doing awesome. So they had their last game on Sunday. They were in the Sooner Classic out in Tulsa, and that's why I flew back into Tulsa. And man, they had only lost one game all year. They lost in the championship game, 32-26. Oh. They had beaten that team the day before, 28-8. Good little team. It was a Fort Gibson based team, but then they had a couple of kids, like an all-star team they put together. A couple of kids from Choctaw, a couple of kids from Jinx. But he played well. He had 3 touchdowns. I want to say in the 3 games there in Tulsa, he had 9 touchdowns out of 3 games, something like that. I think 3 picks. He played well. It was a really good season. The team that he played on this year, they had a great year, great run. They ended with a loss, but they played tough. And I always try to tell them, sometimes losses are the best thing, man. You grow, you learn more from losses than you do wins. So it was a last year of youth football for him. He'll get into school ball next year, but it was a lot of fun, man. He had a great time and a blast, and that Sooner Classic was fun over the weekend there in Tulsa.
I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm happy for you getting some time with your family, Dusty. Enjoy it, and then we'll talk to you whenever we get back next week, hopefully after a Sooner win in the Bayou.
Thank you. I appreciate your friendship. Thankful for that and so much more. Are you ready to go into the Tigers' den?
I don't know.
You ready for this?
I don't think I have a choice. I better get ready, right?
You get ready for the Tiger Bait chance.
Yeah, Tiger Bait. And I have been told, I think, that LSU is one of those sidelines where it's just like, yeah, come on down and watch the game. Yeah, you come on down. So that might make things a little more challenging for me on Saturday. We'll see. Have fun, buddy.
All right, you too. Safe travels, everybody.